but it was like about 12 and a half years that I felt like I had a wife. And then, I think, she always used to say like, I'm not happy. Yeah, I don't think you're happy and things like that. And I was like, you're wrong.
All right. So Jordan, let's just jump right in. Can you tell me a little bit about where you were at in the beginning, when you first were getting divorced, and specifically like before you and I met or connected?
Yeah. I was not in a great place because, I was a little bit not expecting the news that you get when your wife tells you that she's in love, but not in love anymore. I really thought I could fix it. I was pretty wrong. And, and then you start to, or at least I should say, I started to just, question everything about myself and whether or not I was a good enough person to warrant being married. And then obviously I found all the reasons why I wasn't, and then proceeded to get in kind of dark spaces sometimes where I would think these thoughts and then I would just find the evidence I was looking for to support those negative thoughts. And, I, for a while there, I was so stressed that my heart rate was elevated a lot. And I went to a cardiologist because I'd just be sitting there and my heart rate would be just going so fast. And it was like, I think that was one of the things, because he was like, you look fine. And he's, like, are you going through any stressful situation right now? I was like,
A little
kind
bit.
of. And I don't think that like made a major change for me, but it did help me understand that if I stayed this stressed and so like worried and afraid for the future, that I would probably not be a healthy person.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. When you go to the doctor and he's like, you look fine, but you're not fine. You're like, I don't
Yeah.
want to stay in this place. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Jordan, you don't have to give, any too many details, but can you just give
Hmm.
us kind of a rough idea of how long you were married, how long after the separation or the divorce that you kind of had this realization that I need to do something. I don't want to stay here.
I was married 12, technically 13 years because it was signed. Divorce papers are signed a couple months after, or like a month after. But it was like about 12 and a half years that I felt like I had a wife. And then, I think, she always used to say like, I'm not happy. Yeah, I don't think you're happy and things like that. And I was like, you're wrong. You're not. And and I think as soon as she told me she was like, this person who I thought I signed a lifetime agreement with was like, this lifetime agreement is over. I started looking at everything in my life, and I don't look back at it as something that was horrible. I think I needed to do some of these things, but I think even right during the separation, I I started trying to figure out how to handle separation well. And then when I knew it was over, I switched over to like even before like divorce paperwork. That's when I was like, I need to, a divorce coach is a good idea because I think like what also taught me, like I've been doing counseling. It's like counseling. It's like it's okay. You're not weak if you need counseling. It's just you just need some help getting through some things. And I don't know. I think that like just realizing that if you need help with like the mind, it's not weakness. It's not like your brother or your family is doing a better job because they didn't need to go to counseling or need coaching or things like that. It just is what it is.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, it sounds for you, Jordan, it was really that realization that I'm in a place, I'm feeling really physically in ways I don't want to feel, and I need some
Mhm.
help to change that. I
Yeah.
don't want to stay here.
No, yeah, no, that's exactly right. I always was just like, this is my only life, so I want to make sure I don't waste too much time. Like, I don't want to rush to healing, but it's like I definitely want to figure out as much as I possibly can, as fast as possible, so that I can have a good, successful life and hopefully not like waste time. Which I know is like a perspective. All the time is good if you're learning things and growing, but sometimes it doesn't feel that
Oh
way.
gosh, no, and not when you're there,
Hmm.
right? And in that anxiety that's like giving you heart palpitations.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
So Jordan, tell me a little bit more about now. What's changed since then?
I think I've learned so much about my thoughts and how all these problems I wanted to blame on Jody, which I'm not like, whatever. I'm just saying a lot of it was a story I was telling myself. And I feel like I can tell myself a new story and I don't feel like I'm lying to myself, which I would have used to criticize myself for. Like just to be like, no, that's not actually true. You are actually,
Right, like
X
trying
bad
to make it
thing.
a silver lining, right? When you have like
Hmm.
something feels awful and you're like, no, it's gonna be okay. And your brain's like, yeah, screw you, right? It's not.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
So I don't know. And I've just, it's taught me to love myself no matter what. and that things are going to be okay, even though it feels like the end of the freaking world. Like, and like, I don't know, I feel like talking about people getting divorced and then going through it is a mile different. Like, you have no idea how much it breaks a person down. And I'm happy I've gone through it so that if my friends go through it, I'm going to be like, and not that I can fix for them, but I hope I can be there for them and understand and, like, just help them, like, not feel like it's the end of the world.
Was that part of your experience, Jordan, that when you were going through it, it was like the people that hadn't been there really didn't fully comprehend the immensity of it?
Yeah. And I feel like sometimes people downplay it. It's like, just get over it. It's not the end of the world. Just do things you like to do. Like, people have all these things that they like to say, which are actually not horrible advice. It's just, it doesn't feel like it's even attainable at times, when you're like not getting sleep and you're not eating and things like that.
Jordan, give me some of the, like, what are the really tangible things that are different for you now from then? Like, how about sleep and eating and kind of just that day-to-day stuff, right? That, like, what's changed for you?
I've realized that I can handle everything. Like, because you have the house all to yourself, you have the kids 50% of the time, all of it's doable. I don't feel alone when I sleep. I just am sleeping. I'm not like missing out on the best of the world or whatever. I get to eat a lot cheaper. I mean, and I enjoy it. Like, I'm just saying, I mean, everything's fine. And it's hard to tell that to the person going crazy. And it seems like the end of the world, but I almost feel happier. I feel like more of a man getting to make all the decisions myself, which, I don't know. It sounds kind of like, what was I doing beforehand in my head? But it's like, it's a lot better than I thought it would be.
Yeah. Like, when you were there at the time, does it feel, Jordan, it almost sounds like, like if your current self was talking to you a few months ago, the old you would have been like, yeah, whatever. I don't think so.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I think for sure. I would have told that guy to shut up.
You'd have been like, no, dude, not happening.
It's like, you don't literally understand how shitty it is.
Yeah. Jordan, how about let's stretch it even further, right? Let's make it even more unbelievable for the old you. What's next? What does the future, and not specifics, what's next, but what does it feel like for you going forward?
My current mindset is, I just can't wait to see what's going to happen, and I don't even try and pretend like I'm going to know. And I just, like, I don't want to, like, limit the possibilities the universe might throw at me, in a sense, and just kind of, like, be okay with it, because I don't think I can predict in any way.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I love the way you just said that, because that's very true for me. If I look back at all of the predictions I've made about what my life will be like in the future, I've always been wrong, right?
Yeah. So what, and I don't know, and I don't worry about it. There's times they creep in. Obviously, like, money happens from time to time, or, insert scenario. But I feel like I never used to be able to look inside and pinpoint how I was feeling, or pinpoint false thoughts. And now I feel like they don't really stand much of a chance. Because even last night I was like, they'll thought of, nobody's gonna want to marry a guy with 3 kids. That was like coming back. It's like, you just had a girlfriend, so just calm down.
Yes. I love
just
it.
like, and I chose it to end it with her, so it wasn't like it wasn't where I wanted my life to go. So it was just like obviously it's possible. It's just funny.
Yeah, it's like that guy from before is kind of still in there, right? But instead of taking over, you hear that voice and you're like, let's back up and look at the situation. Because
and you showed us the survival self is there for a good reason. And it's like, it's the trying to keep me safe and protected. And those are all, it's like not the enemy. It's just, you want to predict how it's going to show in your life if you can.
During that piece you just mentioned too, I just had a girlfriend, and I'm the one who chose to end it because it's not the direction I wanted my life to go in. A few months ago, like that you from a few months ago, how do you think he would have seen that situation?
He would be blown away, because there's just like this overwhelming, like, I missed my chance, never going to find love again. And I remember myself saying those things, and I'm not like upset at that guy. I feel sorry for him. And I also wonder, like, what am I saying right now? You dummy, not a dummy, but I just know that there's things even now I'm saying probably that I'll look back on and wonder what I would even think that.
I feel like that belief was so limiting, right? What he had then, that nobody would want me, and now you look back and you're like, wow, that's so clear that was limiting. And maybe there's something who knows, what is the story I'm telling now, and what's going to become possible when I see it for what it is.
And I already know, like, it'll be better than what I had. like, because even like that short time I had with the other lady is like she loved in like many different ways that my ex-wife was just very dead inside in some areas. And I'm not trying to like hate, I'm just saying it's like there's just like, everybody's different, and just because it sucked with Jody at times, or I didn't even realize that it wasn't that great. It's like it shows glimpses of like everyone is truly unique and every experience will be different.
I love that. Jordan, let me ask it this way. What would you say to somebody who is in the same place that you were in and is considering working with me or going through Better Beyond Divorce?
I would say that it is worth your time and the money, because we get really stuck with our thoughts. And I think that that's like the best part about it, is just like being able to look at your thoughts and, massage them into what you want them to be, because you can choose what you want them to be. It's not like whatever you thought when you're 9 is true still or whatever. So we just kind of all get stuck sometimes.
And Jordan, how about outside of Better Beyond Divorce or coaching or any work with me? If you could go back to yourself several months ago, what would you just want him or somebody who's in that same place to know?
My first thought is like, just take some breaths and start loving yourself. I think that would be the one. Just like appreciate yourself. You're not the big reason. You're not the only reason you got divorced. You contributed, and it doesn't mean you're a bad person. They're not a bad person. It just happened, and you're gonna have another chapter.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love the way that you just make it. You just took all the drama out of it, right?
Yeah.
Thing that happened, and it sucks, and it's really hard right now. And there's going to be another year.
And there's no like fast forward, unfortunately.
Yeah, I guess that's an important part to share too, right? Is you can't just skip ahead to the next chapter. You have to finish going through this one. Jordan, is there anything else that you would like to share that feels important, either about what you've been through or what you'd like someone to know?
I think it's just one more lesson from the course, is that I kept saying all these things that I should be doing and how other people do it better, or I don't know, any number of things where I felt like I wasn't good enough or processing enough or moved along in the process enough. And it was just like, it's okay to just be exactly where you're at, and you're doing just fine, and you don't have to live up to any expectation.
Yeah, the what if nothing has gone wrong, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We said that a million times.
Yeah, what if it's okay to be here right now? Awesome. Jordan, thank you so much for joining me for this conversation, for sharing.
Thanks for all your help too.
You're very welcome. All right.
If you found this video helpful, then you have to check out my free masterclass, How to Take Back Control of Your Life After Divorce. In that hour-long masterclass, I go into way more detail than I can cover on these YouTube videos about how specifically to start to heal, to stop the painful emotions, regain your confidence, and take back control of your future. I break it down into steps and give you a lot of actionable items that you can start using right now today to start feeling better. You'll find the link in the video description below under free masterclass, How to Take Back Control of Your Life After Divorce. I hope to see you on the masterclass and in the next video here on YouTube. Thanks for watching.